Okay, what do you mean you might play football again?
It's not a guarantee, but there is a chance. Okay, and wouldn't it be amazing if I can get back on the field?
Yes, of course. And I know how much you love the game, but Kai, how? Your doctors say that if you get hit again, you might be paralyzed for the rest of your life.
Yes, they did. Okay, but it turns out that may not be true. And what is...
Drew, you mean Congressman Kane?
He told me to call him Drew.
Right.
Anyway, we were talking about the Pediatric Sports Initiative, and he asked me what I wanted out of life. And I told him I'm still trying to figure that out now that football isn't a part of it.
And what did he say?
He told me about this doctor who's making huge strides in vertebrae repair. And he told me he can get me in to see him.
Oh, okay, so Drew just so happens to know somebody who can offer you exactly what you want.
Well, he's a congressman, so he probably knows a lot of people. Anyway, Drew thought I could be a candidate for this procedure.
Drew did.
And he's willing to pay for it, Trina. Like, isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it just seems really hard to believe.
I am not new. Okay, Dr. Mahinder is the only surgeon performing this surgery in the continent. And my insurance doesn't cover it, so maybe that's why nobody considered it an option.
Or maybe because it's just too new?
Look, I'll know more after I meet with Dr. Mahinder. And Drew can get me a consultation.
And what is Drew gonna do? Pay the six-figure tab?
That's what he said.
He barely knows you, so why would he do that? For medical bills is an extremely generous offer, especially for someone that he just met.
I thought the same thing, and I asked him about it.
And?
And look, Drew thinks that I have potential.
Yes, obviously you do, but even so...
It's just a consultation, Trina.
Are you gonna do it?
Well, that depends on your mom. I gave her the information that Drew gave me, and she agreed to look into it. I trust her judgment. And she did find the procedure that helped your dad walk again.
It just feels like it's moving really fast, okay? And I just don't want you to be disappointed if it doesn't work out. And even if it does, I'll be afraid that you'll be hit wrong and then be paralyzed.
Then we're on the same page. Okay, it's not just about playing, Trina, it's about being a part of a team.
Are you even able to get back on the team?
Well, that'll be tough. PCU's already had to replace me, and there's no guarantee I'll be able to play college or pro ball, but at least I'll have a chance. And that's because of you.
What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Afternoons Delight. Welcome back on in, everybody, man. Hope y'all had a wonderful Friday. Let's get into this, man. I want to start with Kai and Trina first. So we pick up from yesterday where Kai was really excited to bring the news to Trina about him potentially getting this surgery to fix his vertebrae so that he can play football again, right? Boy, oh boy, maybe he made the wrong decision because, well, he was going to have to tell Trina anyways, but Trina was not excited as him, and a lot of it had to do with not the surgery itself, but because of who was going to help him, and that was Drew. So Kai's, like I said, Kai's really excited that Drew is willing to pay the bill, that he even put him in a situation where he could get this surgery. But Trina's trying to give him a reality that Drew is not to be trusted, just like Curtis was giving him just, before he came over to Trina's, he talked to Curtis. Portia wasn't able to say much because of the position she's in, but she took it more on a professional level, like as a medical opinion. And she did say she'll get back to Kai if the surgery is safe for him to get. Now, he's really going to risk it because he feels like he's got nothing to lose. But he does on a quality level of, if he gets hurt the wrong way, he could be paralyzed and being in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. So Trina's the most worried about that part for Kai's future. Now, she's also worried that Drew is going to use him up until he's got, Kai's got no use for him. And I think, the way I view it is that Trina is definitely right to be concerned. Like, I don't have no problem with her being concerned. And stuff like that. I do think Kai needs a little bit of more of a better support system. And this is where I think he needs to go back to his friend Quinn who might be able to, like, you know, support him in the way that he wants to before getting his surgery. I think all the doubt about the surgery is not going to help Kai going into the surgery, but he seems to already have his mind made up. But I do think he needs someone like Kai to kind of pump him up. Now, I've been bigging up on Kai and Emma being together, and I think Emma would do it the same way because she doesn't like Drew either, so I don't think there'll be much of a difference there. But Emma might be a little bit more supportive of him getting the surgery though, but just not in that way though. But I think also the other thing with Emma and Kai, man, I think they need some more scenes together. Just as friends, I'm not saying, you know, Emma and Kai got to be as close as Emma and Gio is right now, but I do think they need some more scenes together on the screen because I mean their chemistry is up there. But as for Kai, as far as Drew goes, and if Kai should trust him long term, maybe this is where I think that Curtis and Trina are right at, is that if he somehow isn't able to play football no more, I don't think Drew has any use for him. But at the same time, I think they're kind of misjudging Drew a little bit, because I think one of the things that Drew is starting to like about Kai is that Kai's not treating him like everybody else in town. Like, Kai has been very nice to Drew, little naive when it comes to Drew, but he's been very, like, supportive of Drew, and I think Drew's going to start seeing him as an ally. You know what I mean? Like, I also think, and I'm not trying to back up Drew, but I also think the Curtis situation wasn't totally him trying to use Curtis in that position. And hear me out. I think what was going on there with the whole Curtis thing was it was more of a Michael versus Drew thing going on. And I think Curtis misread the situation like he was going to be CEO long term when it was always a temporary thing. And he, you know, because Jordan put it in his head, which was the right thing for him though, because it allowed him to get the CEO position, it really wasn't Drew, like, using him. It was always a temporary situation in that position. And I think it made Curtis think that Drew was, betraying him. So I think that situation with Curtis and Drew wouldn't have ended up that way if it wasn't for that. So I don't think the same thing's going to happen. And I've been saying this. I've been saying this on a lot of my Kai videos lately. I think Kai is definitely Drew's long lost son. I got a feeling about that. It's heavy. And that's another reason why I don't think the long term relationship between Drew and Kai is going to be messed up. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Go on here to give me your thoughts here in the comment section below. Give this video a like, share, subscribe, y'all. Thank y'all for watching this one. After news, to like.